long ago, I used to be what some might call a plain Jane. I was completely stuck in my style. I would wake up every day and reach for the same old plain outfits over and over again. T-shirts, jeans, sometimes hoodies, sweaters, whatever I felt was comfortable, accessible, easy. I mean, after all, isn't that what we're supposed to wear on a casual day? What else am I supposed to do? Dress up? That would mean I would have to spend hours getting dressed. I would have to spend more money on clothes. I would have to plan ahead and stress about how I'm looking, and even risk coming across as someone who's trying too hard. So why bother with all of that, and let me just wear what everyone else is wearing? But here's the thing, dressing like everyone else made me feel like everyone else. And deep down, I knew that I was keeping myself small. This was me in early 2023, and this is me now. And between these two photos, everything has changed. Not just how I dress, but also my self-image, my mindset, and how I show up in the world. So if you clicked on this video because you're looking to reinvent your style, your visual identity, and truly glow up from the inside out in a way that feels authentic to you, then you're in the right place. Today, I'm sharing all the tea about my transformation journey, what worked, what didn't, what I wish I knew sooner, so you can skip the trial and error and step into your dream self ASAP. My name is May, and this is Elegance Feed. For a transformation to be truly effective and long-lasting, it has to come from within. And I know you keep hearing this over and over again, but the reason why you hear it over and over again is because it's true. You can go to your closet right now, you can take out all of your clothes, get rid of them, you can go to the nearest mall, shop for an entirely new wardrobe, and then 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, you're gonna end up in this exact position because your mindset about dressing, your habits, your standards for how you show up haven't changed. So let's talk about the plain Jane mindset. So to give you some context about my journey, let me take you back to 2023. This was deep into my plain Jane era. I was finishing off my last year of college while I was working a full-time job. I was doing marketing, so the company that I was working in didn't really have a dress code. It was a very chill, creative type of environment, so nobody really dressed up for work. And they also had their own merch, which I wore the majority of the time, and otherwise I would be wearing t-shirts, jeans, sweaters, and kept that laid-back, chill, college kid type of look. And back then, I was telling myself, and let me know if you relate to this, I was telling myself that the way I used to dress day to day didn't really matter because I wasn't doing anything special, I wasn't meeting anyone special, so who cares? And honestly, if you think about it, it's a fair argument. Why would you put in extra effort if you're not doing something or meeting someone important? But actually, there is someone who is very special and very important that would be seeing you every single day. Yourself. And the truth is, when you wake up every day and you throw on whatever, old clothes, wrinkly clothes, oversized t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, jeans, every single day, what you're telling yourself, what you're actively confirming to yourself is that I'm not worthy of dressing well for. I don't love myself enough to look good, to put in effort just for me. And this might be a hard pill to swallow, at least it was for me. It took me a while to realize that it takes a certain level of self-love and self-respect to put in effort in how you look, even if you're not meeting anyone, even if you're just running errands or going to the grocery store, or even if you're just sitting at home by yourself. And the other part of it is, back then when I was in college, there was this notion of dressing is shallow, is for shallow women. If you really put in a lot of effort in how you dress and your makeup and your appearance, you come across as someone who's trying too hard, as someone who's trying to get attention or male validation, and it's just so pathetic that you're just so superficial and care about superficial things. So how dare you put in effort? How dare you care how you show up? There's this indirect shaming for putting in extra effort in yourself, and sometimes even direct. Sometimes people would call you out for dressing well in certain environments. Let me know if this is something that you have experienced, because I've received messages from ladies who have had this situation happen to them, where it's kind of like they feel ashamed and guilty for presenting themselves well to the world, which is insane to me. I read this comment on Reddit of someone that was saying something along the lines of, I used to judge women who dress well as insecure, but years later I realized I was the insecure one. And I'm like, yeah, it's tough, but it's true. And the truth is, the more self-worth you have, the more that you want to pour into yourself. And fashion is just one way. There's also grooming, nutrition, exercise, skincare, hair care, inner work. There's just so many ways that you can express your self-worth. And the more self-worth you have, the more that it manifests itself in all of those areas. And that's not to say that you have to become a fashionista to showcase your self-love and self-respect. This is not what it's about at all. You can have a very minimalist, simple, comfortable type of style, but it shows that you put in effort. It shows your care, your attention to detail. And this is truly what matters. And obviously there are women who use fashion just to get attention, and it's not really coming from a place of self-love. But if you're watching this video and you're looking to elevate yourself and your style, then you need to be honest with yourself and truly commit to this transformation for the right reasons, because otherwise it's not going to be genuine, effective, or sustainable. If you dress to the nines when there is a special occasion, but you look sloppy on your day-to-day, then something needs to change here. Your day-to-day look matters the most because it shapes your identity. There's actually a scientific term for it. They call it enclothed cognition. How you dress impacts how you think, how you feel, how you behave, your energy, how you show up in the world, the type of people that you attract, the type of opportunities that you attract. So it's much more than just a piece of fabric that you're putting on to cover your body. It has meaning, it has an association in your brain, and you truly need to make the most out of that, and you need to use it for your advantage. So the takeaway here is stop feeling shame around putting in effort in your look. Stop settling for who you are right now or what's acceptable in your environment, and start showing up as who you want to be. Because plain Jane wants to be plain, basic, and boring. She wants to blend in, not get any attention, not trigger anyone. She just wants the status quo. But you want to become your absolute best self. Okay, now let's see how this old plain Jane mindset manifests itself in your wardrobe. And here you'll see why it's important to tackle your mindset first. My wardrobe used to be a mishmash of different colors, prints, patterns, styles, items from my old identity, items from high school, stuff that I've bought but never really worn. And it was just a big, massive clutter. This is actually a real photo of my wardrobe back then, and you can see all shades of the rainbow here. It was the epitome of a full closet and nothing to wear, because truly nothing worked. A capsule wardrobe? What is that? I've never heard of that before. It was such a foreign concept to me. Which, by the way, if you're currently working on your wardrobe and truly building the foundation, the basics, I have a free capsule wardrobe checklist, which is a part of my free Elegance guide. You can download it below. I will leave the link for you, and go through this checklist and start building your foundation. But anyways, the irony here, and this is how your mindset manifests into your wardrobe, despite the fact that my wardrobe was so colorful, I had a lot of different styles, statement pieces, going out type of outfits, my day-to-day looks were very plain. My day-to-day looks were like this. It was very plain, repetitive, boring, definitely ultra casual, because I was conforming to my environment. I was conforming to what was expected, what was convenient, what was comfortable, despite the fact that I collected very fancy looking, stylish items. So if you're in a similar situation right now, you have a big cluttered closet, you have a big collection of items that don't even go together, you have maybe items with the price tag still on them because you haven't even worn them or found a way to wear them. This could be happening because of 3 reasons. Number 1, you shop for a fantasy life. So this is how it looks like. You go to the store and you find a cute item that you like in the moment. It inspires you, you feel attracted to it in the moment, but it doesn't really serve a purpose in your life, but you still like it, and you think to yourself, well, maybe someday someone would invite me to something where I will wear this item. And then months go by and you're like, why in the world did I buy this? This was literally me every single time I went shopping. Mistake number 2, you think that trends make you look stylish. And I admit back then, because I did not know how to create chic outfits, I didn't know how to mix and match items together. I didn't know anything about my color season, my body shape. I didn't even know this was a thing. So I felt like I had to compensate some way, shape, or form. So I would follow trends, see what's trending, and get those pieces because to me it seemed like I was making the right fashion choice. But in reality, I was doing myself a huge disservice. So here, as an example, fringe was popular back then. Let me know if you remember this trend. Dresses, shirts, even bags, everything had fringe on them. So when I found this top, I was like, oh, it looks very colorful, it has fringe, it's very trendy, let me get it, I bet it's gonna look so good. Yeah, no, definitely not. Mistake number 3, you're looking for a bargain and not an investment. And this is especially relevant if you strictly shop from fast fashion stores, because as the name implies, they are fast in producing cheap, low quality items that are trendy and seasonal right now. So the listings that you see, the offers, the flash sales, what's typically in front of you in these type of websites are trendy pieces that are getting hyped at the moment, and they are pushing them to you so you can consume them. And what ends up happening is you'd get an item like that, maybe wear it once or twice during this trendy season, and after a wash or two, it will start to lose its shape, it will start to deteriorate because it's bad quality, and it will get buried in your closet among the mess. You will forget about it and then go buy something else, wasting more money, and then ending up with another item that doesn't even serve you and you don't even like. Sometimes there are trends that can work for you. There are trends that truly align with your style. For example, right now what's trending is waistcoats and vest tops, and these go perfectly with my style. So even though I'm buying something that is trending, but I know even when this item is no longer trending, I would still be wearing it because it aligns with my style. So there is nothing wrong with that. But the problem is when you go for something that you don't truly like, it doesn't fully flatter you and go with your taste, but you're just doing it for the sake of, oh, it's trending right now, it's cool, it looks like what the influencers are wearing on Instagram, so if I get that, I'm gonna be the cool one as well. So that is a big no-no. Being intentional and choosing quality items is truly the way to go. I talk about this more extensively in my free masterclass, and I also share with you which items you should start to eliminate. I highly recommend watching it if you're interested in knowing how to actually look for quality items and how to identify them. I'm gonna leave the link for you below. Okay, now I want to talk about the shift and what made me let go of this plain Jane identity and move into who I am today. I would say the moment that I became self-aware of my mindset, my thoughts about dressing, my shopping habits, my choices, the moment that I truly realized what I was doing is the moment that everything changed. And it actually changed when I was watching a YouTube video, just like what you're doing right now. I was starting to consume content about elegant style, then I took a course, and then another one, and then another one, and then I became a certified image consultant, which is something that you don't need to do. I'm here to share my experience so you don't have to go through all of that. But I really got into it and I started to teach others how this transformation happens, how to go about elevating your style and making the right intentional choices in your wardrobe. And my students and the people who follow me and consume my free content started to have the same results. So if you're watching this right now wondering, will this work for me? I don't have a big budget, my body shape is X, Y, and Z, I don't know where to get started, and all of these doubts don't really matter. This process has worked for me and it has worked for others, and it will work for you if you put in the work. And if I can tell you one thing that was truly my breakthrough moment, was the moment I realized that there is another option. There is another possibility. Yes, I want to be comfortable, but I can also look elegant. Yes, maybe I have a tight schedule, I can't really put in a lot of time and effort into my look, but I can also find a way to look put together and presentable. Yes, maybe you have limited resources right now, maybe you have a tight budget, but you can also be intentional and still build your dream wardrobe. And also, you can look chic and stylish even if you're not a big fashion girly. And this actually describes me. I'm not a fashion girly. I'm not interested in the fashion industry as an industry. I'm not interested in trends, seasonal colors, what celebrities wear. I don't watch fashion shows. I'm not really interested in fashion. What I am interested in is personal style, because personal style is what gives you your unique identity, is what attracts to you opportunities that align, people that align, relationships that align. And it truly what makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel authentic and you feel like yourself, like your unique self. Realizing all of those things felt so empowering, and it truly gave me a sense of relief. Okay, now I want to share with you everything that I did to go from being a plain Jane to effortlessly elegant. Step number 1. I defined my dream style. Listen, there's a lot of content out there, especially on elegant, classy style, old money, and all that type of stuff. And a lot of it is good, but a lot of it can also be confusing, overwhelming, and sometimes even unrealistic. And when I was consuming this content when I first started out, it made me feel like this information that I was getting from those elegance experts was keeping me entangled to their view on elegance, to their personal preferences and their fashion opinions. And this is a trap that I really want you to pay attention to. And that's why when I became an image consultant and started to teach elegant style, I was like, I have to find a different approach, because as a consumer of this content, it felt off with me, so it must feel off with other people. So when I created my course, Essence of Elegance, I was like, I'm not gonna give specifics. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, this item is elegant, this item is not elegant. And if you've seen those videos, you know what I'm talking about. So instead, I teach my students something I call the 5 essentials of elegance. These are 5 traits to look for in an item to determine if this item falls into the elegance category. And I let my students decide for themselves whether this item aligns with them, as long as it meets those 5 traits. And not only is this easier to follow and understand, but it's also very liberating, because you're not attached to somebody else's definition of elegance. So for example, one of these 5 traits is simplicity. So a neutral silk top like the one that I'm wearing today is simple, but so is a top with minimal florals, as an example. So if I come on here and say floral shirts are not elegant and you shouldn't wear them, then I have completely eliminated the possibility of this floral shirt to be considered elegant, which it absolutely is. There are so many ways that you can look elegant. Elegant style is this big umbrella term that has so many different subcategories underneath. So you can be a classic, have that old money type of look. You can be feminine and flowy. You can be bold and seductive. You can be a minimalist and embrace a more natural, comfortable type of style. Or you can be creative and express your personality through fashion in a tasteful way. And you can also mix and match different elements from each of these categories to create your own signature style. So for example, right now I go back and forth between classic and feminine. So stop listening to the noise and determine what type of elegant do you want to be. Stop being influenced by trends and other people's definition of elegance. So the way to do this is you start by creating a mood board, or you can call it a style vision board. And what you want to do is collect images of outfits that inspire you, and not just outfits. You can do colors, color palettes, textures, prints and patterns, specific pieces that you're drawn to. You can include images from your favorite fashion icon. You can even include interior design and draw inspiration from that. And after you create this big collage, you can obviously do it either in real life or digitally. I personally use Canva. There's a lot of templates on there that you can just drag and drop the images to create your collage. And after you do that, I want you to pay attention to repeating patterns. And what I mean by this is, are there any repeating colors that you kept being drawn by? Are there any repeating pieces, styles, fabrics, a specific outfit formula that you kept adding over and over again? Because this will give you clear direction on what you actually like and what you're actually drawn to. The next thing I did is I figured out my color season and my body shape. And this is very important. This is actually something that I wish I knew sooner, Because instead of immediately jumping into shopping and getting new items and being excited about them, if you're getting items that work against your color palette or your body shape, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You're wasting your time and money on the wrong items because you would have to go back and buy the right ones that actually flatter you. I have already made 2 videos on body shapes on this channel, which I'm gonna link below, and I highly recommend that you determine your body shape if you don't know that already, and look for the cuts and designs that flatter your body shape. Preferably, if you do this before you create your vision board, it would be even better because you would automatically eliminate whatever doesn't work. And I also have an ebook on color seasons, so you can determine your own body shape on yourself. It's a step-by-step guide, which I will also link below. Back when I was a plain Jane, as you saw, my wardrobe had a lot of colors, blues, reds, yellows, literally everything, and I didn't have barely any neutrals, which now blows my mind because I'm like, yeah, no wonder my wardrobe was dysfunctional. Duh. So it turns out I am a dark autumn, and autumn is a muted season, which means colors that are vibrant and saturated, like vibrant red, vibrant orange, or yellow. These colors don't look good on me at all. And obviously blues, especially if they have a cool undertone, which was what I was going for. So even if you don't know what your color season is, sometimes it's easy to tell when a color does not look good on you. And this is what I wish I knew sooner. So sometimes you would wear a color that would bring out your skin imperfections. Maybe it would bring out your dark circles, shadows on your face. Maybe it would make your face look red, flushed, or tired. So pay attention to these subtle changes that happen when you wear certain colors and eliminate them. Honestly, color theory is such a fascinating topic. If you want a separate video on this, let me know in the comments. And the natural next step here is to declutter and rebuild my wardrobe. So here, I went to my closet, I literally took out everything and I removed items that no longer aligned with my color palette, body shape, and my new elegant style. And for me, it was such an easy thing to do because I can literally tell why this item does not work for me, and I didn't even have that emotional attachment to them. So it was easy to just remove basically everything. If you're planning on doing this, I recommend that you keep the basic pieces, so your basic shirts, your basic pants, things that you tend to wear frequently. Even if you feel like they no longer align with you, you can at least keep them on the side. You can put them in a box until you go shopping and you buy your new basics. And the capsule wardrobe checklist would be very useful in this case. So like I said, you can grab it from the link below. After I made all of those changes, I felt so light. I felt like myself, if you know what I mean. And I was loving the items that I was getting. I was loving my wardrobe. Not because I was buying new stuff, so the novelty got me excited, which is how I used to feel before. It's not like that anymore. It's more about getting intentional pieces. So like for example, I love this top. It's made of silk, so it's made of a quality material. The color suits me. The shape, the silhouette suits my body shape. I can wear it in multiple different ways. It's versatile, it goes with my lifestyle, it goes with my aesthetic, and all of these elements make this piece very intentional and very custom to me. And that's why I started to love my pieces. And this is exactly what you will experience with your wardrobe as you slowly start to shift into a more intentional curation. Aside from loving my wardrobe, I started to feel more confident, and I started to love the act of getting dressed and going out. Even if I'm not doing or going anywhere fancy, even if I'm just going to run an errand. But the act of getting dressed is more enjoyable to me right now. And I started to get more compliments on my outfits, and my style became a conversation starter with new people that I meet. There was this time where I went to a networking event and there was a speaker that I really admired and I really wanted to meet. So I was at this event and there were like a couple of vendors all around. So I was just walking around, checking these small businesses, seeing what's going on. And the speaker that I wanted to meet happened to be hanging out in that same area. And she actually complimented my outfit. She complimented my purse. We ended up chatting and I'm like, I am a fan of yours. This is crazy that, she initiated it. And this is the type of experiences that you will start having when you start embodying your best self and putting in effort in how you look. You will start attracting opportunities, people, connections. And honestly, the biggest reward for me is how I started to feel on the inside. There's this psychological loop that happens when you increase your self-worth. So you start investing in yourself, you start putting in effort in how you look. And when you put in effort in how you look, it increases your self-worth. And it goes on and on like this. You start to raise your standards. People start to take you more seriously because they can see that you're embodying these high standards. I could make an entire video on the benefits of dressing well, but I think you get the point. And by the way, if you're just getting started and you're looking for a full-blown inside-out transformation, you're looking to reinvent yourself and develop your own signature style, and you need step-by-step guidance, you can apply to work with me, and I'm gonna be with you throughout this journey and give you real-time assistance and guidance. So I'm gonna leave the link for you to apply below in the description. And finally, let me hear about your story and where you're at in your level up journey. I would love to hear your experiences, and let me know what would you like to see next. And until then, stay elegant.